morning. And welcome to Unity of Palmyra, where centered in love, we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. We are an open and affirming congregation. We love you exactly as you are in all of your magnificent glory. And we're so happy that you're here with us on this beautiful spring morning. Lots of sunshine and highs in the 40s and 50s this week. Woohoo! Go February. All right. All right. Let's take a nice big deep breath. As we become fully present on this beautiful day in our beautiful sanctuary, surrounded by beautiful faces. And so we breathe deeply into this now moment, letting go of what was and what will be, putting that all down, and giving ourselves the gift of being fully present, allowing our hearts and minds to be wide open to whatever Spirit wants to present to us today. Whatever wisdom or joy, insight, love, food that we will share together today. And so we just sit in the stillness for a moment. So grateful for this time to come apart for a while, to remember the truth of who we are, that we are spiritual beings having an incredibly human experience. Grateful for this space and whatever safe space you are in this morning. And finally, grateful for one another, for this beloved community so committed to making a difference in the world. And so it is. Amen. So this morning is Ask the Rev. I know some of you just can't wait to ask your questions. And so when Janie asked about the music, I told her to pick whatever she wanted. So the music this morning is a la Janie. Let's stand and sing.
I'd like to build the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honeybees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. I like to see the world for once all standing hand in hand, and hear them echo through the hills for peace throughout the land. That's the song I hear. Let the world sing today. I like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to build the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honeybees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to hold it in my arms and keep it company. I'd like to see the world for once all standing hand in hand, and hear them echo through the hills for peace throughout the land. That's a song I hear. Let the world sing today. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. La da da da.
I love that song because harmony means that there are many different parts, right? Harmony is not unison. So what we're looking to create in the world is harmony. How all the different parts can learn to sing and play and get along together. Amen?
Amen.
All right, let's share together in our vision. In our vision. Our vision, I was jumping ahead. Centered in love, we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. And our mission, wherever we are, even when we realize that the Dollar Tree doesn't open till 10 a.m. on Sunday morning, we provide a welcoming community that inspires and encourages all who gather here through the teaching, sharing, and practice of universal spiritual principles. And one of the ways we practice those principles is to honor wherever you are on your hugging journey. So if you want to hug, we will bring it on in. If you're more comfortable with the handshake, we will honor that. And if you want us to leave you completely alone, we totally understand, and we will respect whatever bubble you create around yourself. Have a great time.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Here we go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
We are getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Dan,
Here.
down a little. In
Sing
on-
from your
in
diaphragm,
the
Stephanie. My father was our choir director. Oh, taskmaster, man. All righty. You know, let's talk more about why I love that song. I think this will be. I love that song because to me, it speaks to divine appointment. There's a wonderful quote that I'm going to horribly butcher from Lord of the Rings, and the hobbits are wondering why were they born in such a time as this, right? And I think some of us ask the same question. Why were we born in such a time of this? The point is, we were born in such a time of this. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason we are here right now in this time of our history. And it is, for one thing, to be the light, right? To practice doing it anyway. Good job, Tracy. Right? How many of you did it anyway last week? Right? You tried. Okay, well, you know, it is progress, not perfection. So there you go. All right, so a couple of announcements. Our prayer chaplains today are Linda Longenecker, Lisa Bechtel, and Sam Sherman, and they will be holding space for you during the service, and they will also be available for you after the service if you would like one-on-one prayer. And then because we are having a meal today, we've implemented a new thing since our Advent series, which is super cool. Whenever we have a meal, we ask you to go down and please sit, pick a seat at a table, and then once the meal is all out, one of our prayer chaplains will offer a blessing. And then we will be invited to come and eat the meal. So I love that. Very cool. Grateful for our food. So grateful. All right, speaking of grateful, great job, Source of Light team. I heard yesterday's event was awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then the second part of that is going to be February 17th, right, with Dawn Toole, who is an animal communicator. So if you're interested in that, that is going to be here on Saturday, February 17th. February is a rich, full month because this Saturday is the coffee house. So please do join us for the Valentine's Coffee House. I think last year that was our first coffee house, wasn't it? And then it took off from there. Yeah, I think it was. So please do. We shared the flyer on our Palmyra Facebook page, our Unity of Palmyra page. Please do share and invite your friends to come. It's going to be awesome. Somebody asked a question on one of the posts and said, well, do you have to be a couple? Yeah, that would be, that would be no. No, I loved how they celebrated Valentine's Day on, oh shoot, my brain just went away. The little tiger, Daniel Tiger, on Daniel Tiger's neighborhood, they called it Love Day. So we're celebrating Love Day next weekend at the coffee house, and on Sunday we'll be celebrating Love Day. Linda Klein has decided to consolidate her 3-part class into one rich, full afternoon on March 2nd. That is going to be from 1 to 4, and she's going to really focus on the Ayurveda food sadhanas and how the food has energy and how it interacts with our body. So that's going to be here from 1 to 4 on Saturday, March 2nd. And I think that's going to be very, very interesting. How food can both build energy within our bodies and not, right? So it's going to be excellent. Gwen's You Can't Sleep Through Your Awakening by Jane Simmons. Jane is awesome. It starts February 18th via Zoom. The sign up is downstairs, so please do sign up for that so you can get the Zoom link. And then Lisa Bechtel is doing a 2-part Introduction to Heart Energy Healing class, and that's March 23rd and 30th, and the registration is now open, and she has little thingies, little card thingies with all the thingies. You know what I mean, with all the registration information, and those are downstairs, right? Okay, so do please let her know and register if you're going to be taking that class. And finally, we are, as you heard at the last HUG meeting, we are in conversations about recreating our youth program. And so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to be reaching out to the parents to see what the level of interest is and to gather a certain level of commitment. So if you are interested, please make sure we have your email. I'm going to be sending that email out to the parents this week. And if we can get a level of commitment, then we're going to take the next step, and we're going to look at what it would look like to recreate our youth ed program, building on what Gwen did, which was just incredible. So if we don't have your email, make sure we do if you are interested. And you will be getting an email this week. And I think that's it. Want to share some joy? Okay. Hit the other button to change the channel.
How about now? There we go.
Woo! You go, girl.
The daily word for today is joy. Joy is mine through all the seasons of life. Throughout my life, joy is always a part of me. Like the sun that is always shining, even when obscured by clouds, joy is there in my happiest moments and also during my darker times. It keeps me present to life as it unfolds, responsive and adaptive, accepting what I cannot change, and having the courage to change what I can. Much more than a feeling, joy is part of me, a way to feel the presence of God and live for my spirituality. Joy is the anchor that keeps me rooted in peace and wholeness, and the wings that help me soar through the open skies of imagination and choice. My spiritual identity has its foundation in the divine idea of joy, and I carry it with me wherever I go and in everything I do. And from Psalm 16:11, you show me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy.
I am home, my family is here. I feel loved by the ones I hold so dear. And when my family needs me, I promise to be there. And when I need my family, I'm lifted up in prayer.
So this is the time of our service where we consciously enter into that attitude of prayer. So if you can safely close your eyes, I invite you to do so. And to go deep within. Deep within to that sacred space where we recognize our own divinity, where we recognize the Spirit, the Spirit within that spreads through every cell of our being. That deep place within, far below the waves and the struggle and the strife and just the normal challenges of life. Like a deep lake, we sink down into where there is calm, to where there is peace, to where, despite what is in the outer, we know in that place that all is well. We know this not to be just an affirmation, but the truth. That whatever is happening in the outer, whatever is happening in our lives is for us. And so we take that certainty and that assurance into our days, into our challenges, and into our joys. Everything that is happening is for us. We are here by divine appointment. We are here to experience the fullness of humanity and of the integration of body, mind, and spirit. I It's that certainty that we take with us as we continue to commit to doing it anyway, to showing up in the world as love and compassion and wisdom and strength and courage, and sometimes just a smile. To make that difference, to be that change. And so if you are experiencing a challenge, we love you so much. We surround you with the compassionate arms of this beloved community. And we hold you. And if you are experiencing joy or any cause for gratitude, we celebrate with you. And we ask you to spread that energy, that glee, through that golden web that connects us all. And as always, we know that together or apart, we are forever connected at the heart. And so it is. Namaste.
The God in me beholds a God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. You are beautiful. You are home. You are beautiful. You are home. Excuse me. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, who's that young girl dressed in white? Wade in the water. Must be the children of the Israelite. Oh, God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, who's that young girl dressed in blue? Wade in the water. It must be the children that's coming through. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, wade in the water. Wade in the water, children, wade in the water. Oh, God's gonna trouble the water. Yeah, you don't believe I've been redeemed. Wade in the water, just see the Holy Ghost looking for me. Ah, God's
people have a question? Thanks. Just so the folks that are streaming can hear the questions. All right. Let's ask the Rev time. Bev, you have what? What? You're on.
We had a friend come once to one of the concerts, and she kind of looked around through the whole church. She said, "You don't have one cross in your whole church. Is there a reason, or we just never found a place for one?"
Actually,
I have another one.
there is a reason, actually, because the cross focuses us, and actually there's a cross back there in the stained glass window.
Have to
But-
tell her that.
Yeah, and another one over there, but that's okay. We can't really undo those. Because the cross focuses on how Jesus died, and that focuses on how Jesus lived.
Very good.
And his message was so much more important than how he died. Interestingly, I saw a funny cartoon the other day that actually it wasn't a cartoon, it was a picture that someone had painted, and it was Jesus preaching and he was wearing a cross.
I will tell her this.
Yeah, but you don't have to tell her that part.
Not part, no,
But,
I won't tell her that part.
but yeah, the early Christians obviously did not identify with the cross, they identified with the fish.
Okay.
Because Jesus was a fisherman of men.
I have
And
one
women.
more. I have another one.
Okay.
I came from a church where we had communion.
Uh-huh.
Is there a reason we don't do communion at Unity?
We do what's called spiritual communion sometimes. In fact, Gwen is part of the, thank you, Maundy Thursday is a spiritual communion. But again, it's so, boy, you're really getting me in trouble this morning, Bev. So the reason that I personally do not engage in communion, and in fact, I went to a funeral many, many years ago with my mom for a family friend, and they offered communion, but part of the words were Jesus who shed his blood for us to save us from our sins, and I don't believe that, so I just very quietly abstained from that. Again, it focuses on, in my opinion, the wrong part of Jesus's message, right? And it's so technically it's based on the Last Supper when he said, "Whenever you eat or drink, think of me," right? So I take that as every time you have a meal, remember what I taught you, right? Because we have to eat every day, right? So it's basically saying this as a reminder of what I am trying really hard to teach you. Remember me every time you have a meal. And so to turn it into a ritual that we do once a week seems to me completely counter to the purpose of the teaching, right? You're welcome. Yeah, any other way you can get me in trouble this morning, Gwen? Yeah, so go ahead, Valerie, and then Jeff.
I remember years ago when I was at the Unity Church on Wurtsville Road, we did pass the offering plate then, and I get why you don't here. I like the basket at the door, but there was a wonderful blessing of the offering that to me seemed to take that time, talent, and resources and launch it into the world for a greater good. And I'm missing that a little bit. I haven't been here in a good 10, 15 years, but I miss that blessing.
Yeah, we choose to do the unity blessing after the offering because it doesn't just bless the offering, it blesses everybody. But write down what that blessing was and I'll look into it. Okay? I don't remember. Okay. Well, Well, if you remember it, write it down, and we'll look into it. Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Jeff?
So we spent some time one service with those of us who were in the Beloved Community program to share what we got out of it.
Hold the microphone closer to your mouth
So
because
we
you're
shared
talking with your hand.
we shared what we got out of it.
Yes.
And I would love to hear what you noticed and what it meant to you.
Oh, the Beloved, what I noticed and what the Beloved Community Program meant to me.
And its impact here.
Yeah. So with all the classes and workshops, one of the things I get out of it is, and any of us who teach get this, that when you teach something, you really have to get it, right? And it's hard to teach something that you don't understand yourself. So having to prepare was very helpful, right? And then also with all the classes and workshops, my joy is that's where we have what I think of are just such incredibly rich conversations. And we really get to know each other, right? I mean, Sundays are great, but for me, it's the relationships that are the most important, right? It's one of the reasons I love Ask the Rev, because we get to have a conversation, right? It's much more important to me than preaching it at people. So getting to know everyone, and also I think, if anyone disagrees, that was in the program, but I think together, one of the goals of the program and one of the reasons that we stretched it out over 10 months was so that we could really create a beloved community. And I think we really did that. There was such vulnerability in that group. And of course, I think you would know this better than I would, Jeff, but I think this statistic is that if even 10% of an organization reaches a deeper level of meaning and understanding, then it spreads throughout the entire community. Is it like 10% or something like that? Yeah, and we were way more than 10%. So, and the other thing, now that you got me going on this, is I think I love creating other leaders, right? And I think what happened during that 10 months is people that I've always seen as a leader really started identifying that way and really started taking on that mantle of leadership. And that just brought me such incredible joy. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Rick in the back.
We know that part of your background was going to Interfaith Seminary in New York City, which sounds to me like really something really neat.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yes, it was awesome. I love my interfaith background, and I have such an interfaith heart. But doing it in Manhattan, in just this mecca of diversity and culture, and so it was a 2-year seminary program, and the first year was every month we focused on a different path, a different faith tradition. And because it was New York City, Diane Burke, who was our spiritual director and mentor and just an amazing human being, she was able to bring in leaders from the city in each of those faith traditions. And so we learned about Buddhism from a Buddhist, and we learned about Islam from an imam, and I mean we learned about the earth-based religions from Santeria practitioners, and so it was just an incredible. So it wasn't like me teaching on Judaism, right? It was a rabbi teaching on Judaism. So that was amazing. And then the second year was all different forms of service. How can we be of service, and practicing different services. Interestingly, a lot of people that went through that seminary were not interested in pulpit ministry. They have unique ministries that they have embraced. I was one of a small group who really wanted a pulpit ministry. And interestingly, after I was ordained, that was the year that Diane and a group got together and created One Spirit Interfaith Seminary, and I was part of that group. And so one of my roles was I became the instructor for congregational ministry. And what was really cool about that was I have such a joy for it, I have such a passion for it, for creating, a spiritual community, that some of the students in those 2 years that I was teaching there came to me afterwards and said, I never thought about pulpit ministry until you taught it. And your passion was so contagious, So yeah, it was really interesting. One of the things that was like interesting / kind of sad was when we did the focus on Christianity, and particularly Catholicism, and the ministers and the priests came in to speak to us. The priest in particular did an amazing job and was met with so much anger. So many wounds surfaced, to the point where Diane had to say, guys, he didn't create your wounds, right? But it did surface some pretty powerful conversations and opportunities for healing within my class. So, and then of course my class was just amazing people from all over the country and the world, and it was just awesome. I'm still friends with some of my classmates from there. It's great when we go into the city, we get to visit and catch up. Okay, so one little funny story, and then I promise I'll go on to the next question. So after our in-person groups, which were once a month, and we actually went into the city, Ken drove me into New York City. It was awesome, and dropped me off, and then he went and explored, and I got to go to class. But afterwards, we would all go to this little pub called Mustang Sally's. And it got to the point where they were expecting us, right? So the whole back of the little pub, they'd have these long tables set up, and we would all go in, and we'd have a libation and a drink and just catch up, debrief from the class. So our very last weekend before we were getting ready for our week-long ordination experience, it was after our last class, and so we all went over, to Mustang Sally's, and we said, oh, we're going to miss you guys so much, and this was just so awesome. You treated us so well these last 2 years. And the waitress said, oh, is your show closing? Which kind of speaks to, we were a class full of characters, right? And there were several people in the theater, in fact, some names you might even recognize, within our class. And we were like, oh my gosh, no, we're seminary students. And they went. So yeah, it was an awesome experience that I'm so very grateful for. So, did that answer your question? Yeah. Yeah. All right, who's next? Okay.
As I think about our mission statement about providing a welcoming community, and I'm thinking, again, in this being a year of national election and LGBTQ issues and so on, I'm wondering what thoughts you might have for how we might proceed. It's a big question, I know, but I know that there are limits with charities and so on, but just any thoughts that you might have as to how we might proceed.
So specifically, be more specific.
Like
Proceed in
individually, what would be an appropriate way to think about this, to act, to make a difference that would be in alignment with the values that we share?
Oh, okay. So, yes, election years are always interesting in ministry. So, I would say, and actually this would apply to any year, is continue to practice. Continue to to embrace a positive path, to when you hear cynicism or negativity or the world's going to hell in a handbasket, to do your best to shift the conversation to a place of possibility, right? I also think it's important that we do our civic duty and that we vote, right? One of my rules is if you don't vote, you don't get to complain to me about who's in office, right? Now, legally, I cannot tell you who to vote for, and I would never do that anyway. That's a very personal choice, but I will encourage you, as part of our humanness, to go vote, right? Be a part of the process. This is, you know, we live in a democracy and we get to vote. So, and just continue to focus on the things that are important to you, right? Whether it's the environment or LGBTQ issues, or we're going to be having a presentation by SARC on the 3rd, and human trafficking, right? And so that's going to be on the 3rd, and we're inviting the entire community to come into that. We're just waiting on a flyer, and then we actually, Linda and I already brought it up at our last PAC meeting, and we're going to be inviting other churches to come in. And that's actually a focus. The council and the social action team have been talking about how can we, better serve our community, right? And so we're going to be creating more of those events that we're going to be bringing, inviting others to come and share, and hopefully they won't mind the lack of crosses. Yeah. So, yeah, what? If they notice, yeah. Yeah, so just, be you, right? Be and do what calls to your heart. And I know that there's a specific skill set in shifting conversation, and in fact, maybe, we'll even have an informal workshop around that, or an informal, here are some ways that you can shift a conversation without escalating the conversation, right? Because there are ways to do that, right? And then the first step is to seek first to understand. Right? Starting off telling people how wrong they are is really not the way to go. Right? Yeah. So, good question. Who else? Oh, Lisa. Yeah, okay. Lisa.
First, a plug for something that we can do. I mean, we're a congregation of fairly level-headed people, and the election boards in every county need volunteers to run the elections, and they need level-headed people who can smile no matter what happens. I've been running the election in our little township for the past several years, and it's actually fun. You get to meet your neighbors.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be elected to help run an election.
Right.
They need volunteers. So you can call your county election board and say, hey, I'm willing to volunteer. And they will love you for it.
Yeah, good idea.
The second, my real question has to do with predetermination.
Oh, that little subject.
That little subject. And I was listening this morning, and through everything we've said so far, that question runs through it. We are here for a reason.
Yeah.
I just bristle when I hear people say everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And when things happen, I think there's always opportunity to find meaning in it.
Right.
And on a personal level, terrible things have not happened in my life. So I can do that. But when I look at the experiences of people in war zones, especially children in war zones,
Yeah.
then I come up short with, okay, maybe everything didn't happen for a reason in this case.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's also really hard to find a meaning in it. So if you could talk a little bit about that,
Sure.
that would be great.
So we're here for a reason, and everything happens for a reason are two different things. I think sometimes, first of all, we get to decide what our reason is. So I'm not a big fan of predetermination. The Calvinists lost me. They Yeah. I think sometimes when we say to ourselves or someone else that everything happens for a reason, there can be an element of spiritual bypassing in that. Because if something really terrible is happening to a person and we say, oh, it's okay, everything happens for a reason, who does that comfort? Us, right? Because we're uncomfortable in the presence of their suffering, right? So for children in war zones, whew, that's a big one. I think as we observe the suffering of children in war zones, it can make our reason more apparent, and that's to help. Right? It's not to pat them on the head and say, oh, this is all happening for a reason, honey. Sometimes the reason is that it sucks. Sometimes the reason is that your leaders are more interested in power than in helping you, right? That's not very comforting. But I think for ourselves, since we're not a child in a war zone, we can observe that and say, how can I help? And maybe my reason is finding a way to help, right? I'm not a real big fan of bypassing and patting people on the head when they're suffering, right? Because Jesus wasn't a big fan of that. He didn't tell a hungry person, oh, that's okay, you're hungry for a reason. He said to his disciples, feed this person, right? So if something's happening for a reason, your reason is none of my business. My reason is, right? So, yeah. It's really important, especially in New Thought, because we can really play mind games, that we do not engage in metaphysical malpractice, right? Yeah. Metaphysical malpractice is when we use our incredibly powerful principles for ill-begotten gains, like placating someone to make ourselves feel better, right? Or making excuses, right? It's one of the reasons I love Maria Nemeth's work, because she acknowledges that we are both human and spiritual, and that we live in two realities, physical reality and metaphysical or visionary reality. And sometimes in unity, and New Thought in general, it's not just unity, we much prefer to hang out in metaphysical reality, right? And sometimes then that causes us to break our promises in physical reality. Yeah, so. Fuzzy thinking, yes, yes. She calls it metaphysiling. I love it. Are we metaphysiling? Right. Did you make up your mind, Kate? Okay. We have time for maybe one more after this, and then we're going to.
I am so in awe of your marriage and wondered if you could give us some tips about how you guys remain so happy.
Have you guys ever seen the Pickles comic strip with the old couple? And okay, yeah, that's us. We wonder, like, where they're videotaping us. That's actually a great question. I think it's mutual respect has a lot to do with it. We both really respect each other's gifts and talents and support one another completely in that. You know, we've loved each other for 35 years, and for part of those 35 years, we've been in love, right? Because here's the thing, you know, that whole, oh, I'm so in love, that can come and go. But if you really love someone, that's what's real, right? And the other part, and this may sound weird, but we like each other. right? It's really important that you like the person you're with. Ken makes me laugh, and apparently I make him laugh. Although usually, like, he's making me laugh because he tells a joke, and I make him laugh completely unintentionally. But yeah, we like each other, you know. And here's the thing, you guys. So you don't want to. Every person I know that's been in a long-term relationship, and for us, we're going on 35 years. It has not been all good. We have been through some rough patches. Now, most of them weren't rough patches that we created, although some were, but, you know, family stuff and, you know, cultural stuff, job stuff. You know, the better or worse means something. Now, I'm always hesitant to say that, though, because, you know, I did have a first marriage, a short, painful first marriage. The best part of my first marriage was my kids. Worse does not mean you accept abuse or violence. But worse is, yeah, sometimes we go through a rough patch. And we've had marriage counseling a couple of times in our marriage to help us get through those rough patches, because it's worth it, right? It's worth it when you've really made that commitment. So I'm one of those people that had to do it twice to get it right. Ken brags that I'm his first, so he only had to do it once. You know, but yeah. Yeah, so just through thick and thin, you know, and we also, we have different interests, but we have enough shared interests, like we love Perry Mason, you know, and he puts up with my with my Star Trek and stuff. So, but yeah, how'd I do, honey? And the fact that he doesn't hear half of what I say is also really important. It's really important. Did a question come in from online? Okay, we're going a little long if that's okay, but okay, let's see. Oh, Ellen Winters, why do we say all is well? Okay, so because for me, all is well is the truth of our being. It's not always our experience, right? But when I can come back to that place of all is well, I'm also a huge fan of Gary Simmons' work, The Eye of the Storm, which is why it's one of their requirements for membership, and his insistence that everything is for us, right? That doesn't mean it feels good in the moment, right? But it's a mindset we develop that I am, come hell or high water, I am gonna find something in this, right? I am gonna find something in this that serves me, that grows me, that stretches me, that challenges me, that loves me, you know, I'm gonna find it. So it really is a mindset, all is well, right? Even though it doesn't always feel that way. This is about getting underneath the feelings to the truth of our being. And again, would I say that to someone who is not in a place where they can hear it? No, right? But I can know it for them. It's one of the wonderful things about our prayer chaplains. I don't know if you know it, but they're knowing for you when they pray with you that all is well, right? Deep down, in our core, in our spirit, in that place where nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. Right? So thank you, Ellen. Good question. All right, are we done? Anybody has something that they... Oh, yes. Sorry.
Hi. So I heard that in November, of this year, it's going to start the Age of Aquarius. Ooh. And I was wondering what thoughts or plans you had for that.
So in order to facilitate our entry into that awesome age, I'm going to vote. Okay. So my understanding is that the age of Aquarius, in addition to being a fantastic song, by the way, is an age where we will finally learn to all get along, right? Where we will finally learn to honor our differences and celebrate those differences and love and respect one another. We will also learn to the importance of taking care of our planet and seeing ourselves as an extension of the planet instead of its master and current destroyer, right? So I would say what we need to do to facilitate our entrance into that age is to keep on doing what we're doing. Keep on being that positive influence and practice, 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 right? Practice, practice, practice. Which means that you know, we need to get along with people we disagree with. Right? Except when it comes to football. I'm just saying. Sorry, I had to, yeah. I did send you I'm so sorry the Bills lost text when the Bills, I did. I was a very supportive friend, and I said, yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, I will tell you that I finally broke down and bought myself a Chiefs sweatshirt, and you will all see it next week. Okay? So yeah, but you know, so in all seriousness, that poor kicker, right, that lost that game, had to get off of social media. But the flip side of that was people felt so bad for him, including Chiefs Kingdom fans, that it's now up over $377,000 have been donated to his favorite charity, which you all will love, is to support animals in need. Right? So that is, like, I know I just got goosebumps. So that's a great example, you guys, of how do we respond? Do we send him hate mail and death threats, which happened? Or do we say, oh my God, you must feel so terrible, and oh, by the way, if the Bills had played a little bit better, that field goal wouldn't have been so important, right, Cher? Okay, just saying. You know, or do we donate to his favorite charity? Who do we want to be in the world? Right? It's much easier to be snarky, you guys. Snarky's easy. Cynical is easy. Showing up is the change we want to see in the world. It takes work and it takes practice. Right? Any other questions? I kind of do love that we ended on football. So you might notice a new addition. Tracy and I share a love of all things Penn State. And so for Christmas, she bought me a Penn State puzzle. And so I framed it. It's now hanging downstairs in Holy Grounds. So I'll see if you can spot it. And please tell Judy to not ever give me an Ohio State puzzle, because we'd have to find some non-public place to hang that in the... Sorry, I couldn't resist. All right. Was this helpful? Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right, so here's what we're going to do since we have run long and we do have lunch. Let's just go into the silence for a few minutes, and I'm just going to invite you, Janie, you can sing us in, and then just go into the silence for, thank you, Becky, I appreciate you, for just a few minutes, and just think about what you've heard, and think about questions for the next Ask the Rev, all right?
We can change the world one heart at a time. We can change the world one heart at a time. I see I know you. You're a part of me. My heart is open to love. My heart is ready to love you. You can change the world one heart at a time. You can change the world one heart at a time. I see you, I know you, you're a part of me. My heart is open to love. My heart is ready to love you.
So how can we change the world? One heart at a time. How does what we believe and practice make that change?
I can change the world one heart at a time. I can change the world one heart at a time. I see you, I know you, you're a part of me. My heart is open to love. My heart is ready for love. You, we can change the world one heart at a time. You can change the world one heart at a time. We can change the world.
That was fun. So, Valerie, your question got me thinking that some people might not know why we don't pass the basket. So when we came back from COVID, it was one of the recommendations that we not pass anything that multiple hands would be touching, even though we were washing hands and using hand sanitizer and all of that, and most of us were still masking at that point. And what we realized was, once all the restrictions had been lifted, that we kind of liked not passing the basket. And I remember someone jokingly said at that point, well, then we won't see who's putting money in or not. They were joking, but I thought, yeah, good. Because the other thing is, much of our income comes in electronically at this point, which is a real benefit of COVID. And I don't ever want the offering to be an opportunity to judge, right? We trust that you give as you can to support this community, right? So that's why we won't ever pass the basket again. So thanks for bringing that up so I could explain it. All right, so this is the time where we say thank you for your giving, for your generosity, because you are supporting not just this building and all of our salaries, you are supporting the work that we are doing in the world. You are giving your energy of money, see what I did there? Helps us to spread this energy throughout our community and our greater community. So thank you.
If you see your brother standing by the road with a heavy load from the seeds he sowed, and if you see your sister falling by the way, just stop and say, you're going the wrong way. You've got to try a little kindness, show a little kindness, shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, then you'll overlook the blindness of narrow-minded people on the narrow-minded streets. Don't walk around the down and out, lend a helping hand instead of down. And the kindness that you show every day will help someone along their way. You got to try a little kindness, show a little kindness, shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, then you'll overlook the blindness of narrow-minded people on the narrow-minded street. You got to try a little kindness, show a little kindness, shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, then you'll overlook the blindness of narrow-minded people on the narrow-minded street.
Thank you. All right, great choices for the music today. It was awesome. All right, let's stand and share in our unity blessing and make sure we include our YouTube and Facebook friends. Together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in each and every one of you. Yes, we do. Oh, it's birthday Sunday. Sorry. Okay. Let me take a deep breath. Okay, go ahead. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Leslie, Gary, Linda, Sarah, Tammy, Yasmin, Cheyenne, and Chris. Happy birthday to you and many more. It's also my mommy's birthday month. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And wherever God is, all is well. Go forth and have an amazing week, making the change you come here to make. Join us downstairs for lunch, please, and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye, YouTube and Facebook friends. We love you.
We went to Ireland this last time, my sister and her family were coming, and